Today we're going to be laying out the tool tray. The tool tray's dimensions can be found on the page in the schematics that say tool tray right here. The tool tray's overall width is 7 3/4 and overall length is 17 3/4. However, we're not taking into account the 1 1/4 inch rise or the 1/2 inch hem. So the total width with our J hooks for the side of the toolbox is quarter, 1 1/4, which is equal to 2. So we add 2 inches on both sides of the 7 3/4, and then we add 1 3/4 on each side of the 17 3/4. So that overall dimension gives us 21 1/4 by 11 3/4. So we're going to check our piece of metal. Our piece of metal is squared at 11 3/4 by 21 1/4. So we can lay out our bit box. I'm sorry, our tool tray. I'm going to start from this side and work this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure. Thank you. A 1/2 inch in, and then 1 3/4 inches in. So I'll set this to a 1/2 inch. I'll put it up against the side. And I'm just going to mark it. Then I'm going to do this side same way. Now I've got it marked 1/2 inch on both sides. Now from that 1/2 inch, I need to go to 1 1/4 plus a 1/2 inch, which is 1 3/4. So I set this to 1 3/4. And then I scribe it on both sides again. Now I can scratch this the whole way up on those 4 lines. I now have this completely laid out this way. So now I turn it again. I'm going to measure 1/4 inch and put a mark. I'm going to do that on both sides. Then I'm going to move this to 1/2 inch and put a mark. both sides. Then I'm going to go to 3/4 of an inch and put a mark on both sides. Now I'm going to set this to 2 inches. That accounts for my 3/4 of an inch there and my 1 1/4 inch side. And I will mark it. Now, I can mark this the whole way up. All of these lines need to go the whole way across. Do the same thing on the other side. Got all my lines scratched. The only thing that I don't have scratched is my tabs, and I'll actually draw them in so you know what they're going to look like, but they don't need to be. The tabs are only there for support and for holding the sides in place. So and then they're just going to have angles down to the corner like that. Now, when we go to cut this, we're going to cut this all the way down to the seam. Then we're going to only cut this to our tab here. By the way, I do want to put out that you see these notches in the snips on the jaw. That's because somebody cut wire with these. I actually saw somebody doing it in class yesterday. That single-handedly ruins a pair of snips. You cannot fix these blades after you've cut wire with these. They are not designed to cut wire. They are designed to cut sheet metal. That's why when you're cutting through, when you cut through a piece, it gets stuck. It gets like you cut and it stops there. It's stopping at the notch because the snips are essentially have been essentially ruined. All because somebody wanted to screw around and play with something that's not a toy. All right, this is ready to be folded.